we now start the show of chaos. And who better to bat leadoff in a show of chaos than our friend Sammy Sadovnik? I mean, he's our leadoff hitter. Dude, what is up?
Hey, how are you? Hi, John. Good morning.
Morning, sir. You're our leadoff hitter. You are our Rod Carew, our Ricky Henderson when it comes to the show of chaos today. So we wanted to start things off and kind of do preview the weekend a little bit, kind of figure out where we are heading into the World Cup break, this World Cup thing. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's supposed to be a big deal. And just kind of wanted to get your temperature as to what's going on. So this weekend, sir, for those that may not know, where are you going to be stationed and what match are you calling?
I will, well, thanks, first of all, for inviting me, for having me in your show. I will be here at home in Miami in the new stadium with the last game from Leo Messi, Rodrigo de Paul, and hopefully Dane St. Clair before the World Cup break against Philadelphia Union, the former, supporting Shield last year, and now it's one of the worst team of the season.
Yeah. All right. So I'll bite. What in the wide world of sports is going on with Philly?
It's a good question. I mean, 7 games. 7 games in a row without winning. It's tough. I mean, Bradley Carnell. I mean, have to find the way to win again. It's tough because Miami, have the last 3 games. 2 on the road, winning the first winning in the new stadium. So it will be a tough game for them.
And it's you want. If you're Philly, obviously you're trying to find offense. Bradley Carnell's kind of Jim Curtin-esque when they brought him in. And the same thing that happened in St. Louis, it's like, first time through the batting order, Bradley Carnell, everybody's like, whoa, what am I staring at here? And then the league adjusted, and then it was rough for him in St. Louis City. I feel like I have to say that differently considering it's in all caps. Then he goes to Philly. First time through the batting order in Major League Soccer, everybody's like, whoa, what are we seeing here? And then the league has adjusted again to what they're seeing with Carnell in Philly. And offense. And when you have a team that's kind of predicated on defense and you don't have any offense, them's issues, as the kids say.
Yeah, right. I compare him with the thing that happens with, for example, Jose Mourinho and Marcelo Bielsa. The first season is great, the best, and the second season, they're going down. I don't know if the speech in the locker room sometimes happens, and I don't know how long they will keep the Bradley on as a coach of the team, because it's a bad numbers in the start of the season. We saw Austin, we saw Columbus last weekend. They are approaching to the World Cup break. So they are thinking about to change the coaches. I don't like to change the coaches. I prefer to respect the whole process. But I don't know. The numbers are terrible for Philly.
Yep. How long is it going to take you, or has it taken you, to sit there and with the new barn that Inter Miami has, to not get tongue-tied and sit there and say, here in the new stadium, which is factually accurate. And at the same time, it's like it's new stadium, and then it is the new stadium. It's like
sponsored by, right?
How do you keep from getting tongue-tied on that one?
The new, right? With the sponsorship, but the stadium is really great. It's a state of the art. I mean, very nice. I mean, for our that live here in Miami. First of all, it's close to my house, because the other stadium is almost 60 minutes, and here in half an hour I'll be there. There's a traffic there, but it's a very nice stadium. They will build, a 5-star hotel, or entertainment center, restaurants, all the around the stadium, and the venue is very, very nice. My home country, Peru, will play there with against Haiti. Will be the first national teams friendly game before the World Cup in that stadium. So and they're finally they have the first win last weekend against Portland. So it's very important for them to close with another win against Philadelphia this weekend.
I got to ask about Casemiro, because there is a discussion out there in amongst those who talk about the sport that Casemiro might be on his way in. Obviously, they've got to get the rights purchased from LA Galaxy, but Casemiro adding to this mix, like I said, I'm intrigued. I'd love to see how it integrates. I think there are other issues that Inter Miami has to address. See the back line, but bringing in Casemiro, it once again is another big name to be brought in on a free, possibly, probably, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, I don't like to speculate, but I know I have very good information, inside information that the deal is almost done with Casemiro. So it will be a great addition to the Inter Miami roster. I mean, in the middle field with Rodrigo de Paul, probably Johnny Bright. I mean, they have to change the backline. I agree with you. But they need to they reorder the numbers, because I don't know how Casemiro bring it on the team in what kind of, I don't know, DP or whatever it thinks. But it's very important to have a Casemiro with his experience in Europe, his experience in Real Madrid, and now with the Premier League. So will be a very good addition to the roster for the rest of the season.
What is it about that back line with Inter Miami? I mean, you got dudes with some of the best flow known to mankind. I mean, it is Valderrama-esque flow that you're seeing at the back, but it's just you got great hair, but there's issues. What is it at the back that's the problem?
Yeah, you're talking about Maxi Falcon, the
Oh yeah.
Uruguayan, right? Yeah, right. I mean, they changed a little bit the last three games. Hoyos played with Mikael, the Brazilian central back, and Gonzalo Lujan. Maxi Falcon was on the bench in the last three games. The problem of Inter Miami, the DNA, it's high pressure when they attack. So the problem is to be back. They need dynamic speed. So sometimes last weekend we saw that with the humid and the heat of Miami. They need to be accurate in that thing, not to push in the third quarter. I mean, they have to be intelligent to keep. I mean, in order the four backs and try to be some time of order, because Fry goes, and he have a problem to return back in his position. So, but this is the DNA of Miami and of this new coach, to the high pressure when they attack.
A lot of folks, when they watch Inter Miami, obviously they are drawn to Lionel Messi. I've heard he's pretty good. All of the big shiny stars and the fancy names. Away from those big name stars, who else for you is just as important that doesn't get a whole lot of press to their success? Who in your mind are like those dudes that we need to be paying more attention to see Inter Miami chasing after a championship?
I said three players. Yannick Bright in the middle field. He's very smart. He's after Sergio Busquets. He's a player with a good position. With he goes through the ball with Rodrigo de Paul. The other one is Telasco Segovia, the Venezuelan guy. He assists the last two games for Messi scores. And the third one is a youngster. It's Matteo Silvetti. Now Tadeo Allende have an injury. He was in Barcelona. I think he have a surgery. But I think Matteo Silvetti, he's only 20 years. Telasco Segovia and Gianni Bright. Besides the great start that have the game, the team.
Do you get a chance during a match to enjoy someone, like when you're calling an Inter Miami match? Do you get the chance to enjoy Lionel Messi, or do you consider your enjoyment when you're there calling the match and you see him doing things that would make Nintendo blush when you see what he's able to do.
Now we enjoy a lot. I mean, with or without the ball. I mean, the good thing to be on the pitch, on the stadium, in the booth, is you have the whole picture. So it's not the square of the television. So you can see him with and without the ball, the position when he, I mean, when he think about it and anticipate the play. So it's very very good to have the whole thing with him, with Rodrigo de Paul, with Luis Suarez, with Segovia, and if you can check the face of my color guy Diego Valeri, it's amazing. Every time Messi scores a goal, so it's unbelievable. So we feel like that I mean that electric thing on the booth.
And I mean, and are there parts of his game in your mind that we don't appreciate as much as we should?
He's intelligent without the ball. When he the position on the pitch. I mean, with the ball, we know he's a star. I mean, I mean, an extraterrestrial. But without the ball, he's very intelligent to be in some parts of the pitch, to have the ball without any other guy from the other team. So he's very intelligent for that. I mean, the position on the pitch without the ball.
When it comes to this part of the season where we are, after this weekend, it's the World Cup break. What, I guess, if we played the stoplight game, red light, yellow light, green light, what in your mind for MLS to this point of the season would be a green light with something that you didn't expect that's been really cool, a yellow light, a team that is, a warning, a warning sign, either going from good to bad or bad to good, and a red light, a team that you're just like, whoa, man, something's not right here and things have to get fixed? Who would be your green light, your yellow light, and your red light for this point of the season?
Well, the green light, absolutely Nashville and San Jose. I mean, they're for me was a surprise. Have Nashville there because Nashville plays a lot of games in the Conca Champions. So they eliminated Inter Miami. They have a semifinal against Tigres. And also Vancouver, they and San Jose, sorry, with Bruce, a bunch of youngsters in the roster. They lost Cristian Espinosa, Joseph Martinez, Chicho Arango, and they find, I mean, Bruce find very good players, in the roster to be, to have a very good first part of the season. On the yellow one, I think. LAFC now after the Conca Champions, yeah, it's going down. I mean, they have with Mark a good start, and I don't know what happened after the elimination against Toluca. They going bad and down, and absolutely the red one. It's Columbus, Philly, and Atlanta. I mean, I don't know what happened with the Tata with Atlanta United. They we expect more than those kind of teams. I mean, that have a great performance in the last seasons. I mean, Atlanta last season was a mess, but Columbus after Wilfred, now I mean they fired the coach and have Laurent Courtois like an interim. I don't know how long will it take to find a new coach, but I think the red ones are Philly, Columbus, and Atlanta.
What are you most looking forward to with this World Cup thing coming up?
It's it's double X large the World Cup. I don't like. I mean, 48 teams. They're thinking about 62 on the 2030. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's too much. I think that the World Cup will start in the third round, not even the round of the 32, because we have. I mean, some country. I mean, I think the good things, the good teams, and the good matches will start in the third round. It's strange because it's three countries, 104 games. 4 games per day. I mean, the first 2 days will be a couple of games. I mean, Mexico, South Africa, Korea, Czech Republic. The second day is the US and Canada first game. And then we have 4 games daily. It's amazing for us who love the sport. But I don't know if some games we have the World Cup level, So it's not the quantity, it's the quality of the teams.
You're doing radio, right?
Yeah, every day, Football de Primeras, the last 26 years here.
Crazy.
Yeah, we broadcast the World Cup with a nice team on the radio starting June 11th.
How big is your study book for that? Is it like that big when it comes to all the teams
for the World Cup?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm preparing. I'm just finishing. I mean, with the final roster, we have to, we start the names and the numbers and all the special details. Thank God we will have a referee analyst for us on the radio, Javier Castrilli from Argentina. We have a bunch of great people there, a couple of world champions, Jorge Burruchaga with Argentina and Mexico, 86, Mauro Silva with Brazil here in the States in the 94. We have El Pibe Valderrama, of course, with Colombia, Chicho Serna, Alex Aguinaga from Ecuador, Giovanni Savarese, Steve Sampson. So a very nice bunch of people who will be with us in the broadcasting the whole World Cup on the radio.
Man, we're going to be knocking on your door a lot to try to bring in guests and everything to cover this World Cup bit. Where are you going to be on Tuesday night?
This coming Tuesday?
Where are you going to be?
New York. Yeah, right. In New York.
I didn't know if you were going or if you were going to stay at home or what.
No, we're going. It's a Memorial Weekend, so we'll fly with my wife on Monday morning. Have a nice theater on Monday night, and then a nice dinner, and prepare for the ceremony the next day.
For those that don't know, the gentleman here on our show this morning is one of the 5 nominees, Outstanding Sports On-Air Personality in Spanish for the National Sports Emmys. It's Andres Cantor, Carolina Guillen, Miguel Gerwitz, Fernando Palomo, and Sammy Sadovnik. We know the Sammy Sadovnik guy. And much like you, I am an ofer in Emmys. It's like 32 years. I'm like the Susan Lucci of the Southeast Emmys, where I've got that many Emmys. So I root for you to win it for all of us who have not gotten the awards, because, and I say this in all genuineness, and if there are ears that are young around you, I beg your forbearance. You've been kicking ass for a long time. And, for those of us that watch the sport and ingest it in all the ways that we do, come on. It's like, let the skies open up, let the sunshine come through, and let it shine on a particular individual. Come on now. It's like, this is our thought. Let it shine down. And Tuesday, I'll be watching and keep an eye on things. I didn't know if you were going or if you were staying at home or going to New York for the Sports Emmys. But congrats on the nom. Get that thing, man.
Thank you so much, John. It's my 5th individual nomination. I've never won. We won a couple of Emmys with the group in the World Cup coverage with Telemundo in Russia and Qatar. But, it's an honor, a great honor to be, between those guys, that are colleagues and friends. One of them is my friend, my mentor, and my boss at the same time. So, so hopefully, let's see what happens. Maybe the 5th is the one, and the good one.
We hope so. Do not be a stranger, sir. It's great to catch up with you as you head into the last weekend of Major League Soccer before the World Cup. And yes, we will be knocking on your door when it comes to the World Cup, because we're not stopping, because we got stuff to talk about on a daily basis, and I know you do too. And we'll be knocking on your door and can't wait to find out what's going on. Good luck on Tuesday, man. I really hope it happens.
Thank you so much, John. And yeah, we will keep an eye, and we'll still on the road because we have the last two friendly games with the U.S. national team. We are the right holders in Spanish on the radio of the U.S. soccer. So we have Senegal in Charlotte, and then Germany in Chicago before the World Cup, and then the kick off the World Cup in Mexico against South Africa. So thank you so much for inviting me, John, and for your kindly words for next Tuesday. Thank you so much.
Be good, my friend. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. See you soon, man.
All right, Sammy Sadovnik, hot tag. This means we bring in Jess Charman, and we'll find out what's going on with Jess. I've heard that Jess is in Charlotte. Is this accurate?
Yeah, good morning, John. How are you? Thank you
I'm
for
doing all
having
right.
me.
I found something in my stacks, and I don't know if you remember this.
How could I forget that, John? How could I forget that?
I found this, considering that you are in Charlotte, and the T-shirt as the most annoying voice in radio history.
No longer radio now. I guess most annoying voice in national TV history. I guess now I can tell that guy.
It's all good. So how are you, one of the busiest people in show business?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I cannot believe we are at match day 15. I cannot believe we are so close to the World Cup. And I'm also just like happy to be in Charlotte. You know, I think it's one of those where this was the first time last week I flew to Charlotte. This is the first time I did the drive that I did for 3 years when I was the radio voice or one of the radio voices of Charlotte FC. And I'll tell you, it was such a cool drive going past everything and realizing just from a personal level of growth how far I've come. And I think everyone in life should do something like that, where it kind of brings you back to where you started in this big dream. And it kind of gives you that moment of realization of our lives, right? We can get so caught up on what's next, or we can get so caught up on where we want to continue to grow or continue to go. And doing that drive was a big reminder of like, dang, Jess 3 years ago would have bitten her hand off to be here. And this is like, yeah, a dream come true that I'm getting the opportunities I'm getting this year.
I do want to discuss the matchup against the Revs and for the crown, but we have just as important an issue to discuss with you this morning.
Okay.
Thomas Tuchel has named his World Cup squad, and there are some interesting omissions.
Uh-huh.
There are some interesting names on here. No Cole Palmer, no Phil Foden, no Harry Maguire, no Trent Alexander-Arnold. Ivan Toney is in, and it is an interesting batch at points. Did you get to see this full roster slide, and what'd you think?
Well, I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but I'll say just before we went on, I watched the squad announcement video, which was kind of cool to have the Beatles. So cool squad announcement video. I also watched one of the interviews from Tuchel yesterday or this morning, I guess it is, where he was talking about, you know, the media asking him, was it hard? Do you have fear leaving these big names players off? And what I liked reading between the lines, and obviously we hear a lot of press conferences in our realm of work, John, is to me, reading between the lines, he's left a lot of players out because they're not good for the locker room and they're not good for the environment of the team, and they're not good for. I read a stat the other day, and it was about the US. With when you look at how many players play in a World Cup, a significant portion of minutes, it's not very many players. You know, largely it's your core group of players, and a lot of players on that squad will barely feature. So you need the best people for the training environment. You need the best people for the competitive nature in the locker room. You need the best environment of players that are going to bring something off of the bench and be motivated to play 5 minutes, maybe the whole tournament, but make sure they're the best 5 minutes of the tournament. I think that's where Thomas Tuchel is looking for tournament players as well. At the end of the day, it sounds crazy, but basing it off of a Premier League season isn't always what's going to win you a World Cup tournament, because as we know, and we see in all levels, I mean, look at Open Cup teams. You know, sometimes Open Cup teams are certain players shine in tournament football when it's everything on the line. So how high are my hopes for England? I'm trying not to have high hopes, because every year I have high hopes, and you know, we get let down. I'm not going to say it's coming home. It's already home for me in the US, right? The trophy is here. It's home. I am home now, but I don't mind it, because I think when you look at a lot of these players, I'm excited to see what they can do. And I know you mentioned Tony, and I know he's playing at the Saudi Pro League, and the level maybe isn't the level that you would expect of an England player. But at the end of the day, I think it's 40 goal contributions in 30-something games. That still means the muscle memory of scoring goals, the muscle memory of being in the right players, even if you're against quote unquote inferior competition, there's nothing like a player that is on a hot streak of scoring goals. So I'm hopeful. I quite like what Tony brings to the table in tournament football.
Yep, only played 2 minutes for England since Tuchel became head coach, but he's a part of it. And then you mentioned the locker room guys. I figured that's why Dan Byrne was a part of this discussion in the back. That he's a locker room guy who can be there for set pieces late. Yeah, I just wanted to ask the fan what she thought about the what she thought about the roster. You got New England.
When is the US announcing their roster, and are they going to do something fun?
Tuesday in New York City, and apparently so.
I'm hoping it's something really fun, but not too corny, right? We don't need Donald Trump pulling up the roster players, do we, John?
No, we do no. Sam the Eagle and maybe Mauricio Pochettino. I think it's some riverfront event made for TV that's going to be, I think, on Big FOX or something like that. But yeah, it's on Tuesday. Okay. It's on Tuesday, and it's going to be in New York City. And then I think they come here to Atlanta, and they're going to spend some time at the blank, and then figure out where they go from here.
Maybe I'll bump into Tim Ream in a local coffee shop close to my house. Who knows?
There you go. Your study.
Did you know it's Tim Ream bobblehead night tomorrow in Charlotte?
Does that mean the hair is going to be longer than the bobblehead?
It doesn't have a man bun. I'm very disappointed.
What?
Yeah, I know.
How is that?
It looks always holding well, at least from the image I saw. I will confirm tomorrow whether it has a man bun. I didn't see a specific man bun, you know?
How can that be historically accurate if you don't have a man bun?
I know. All I know is that it was the funniest thing ever, to quote on Apple last weekend. Tim Ream is unavailable due to load management. Don't worry, guys. He'll be back for Tim Ream bobblehead day. He'll be back in the squad.
Absolutely true. How many times have you been to Montreal this year?
Montreal, 4 times in Montreal, and fresh out the break, July 17th for rivalry week, I will be doing Montreal versus Toronto, so I have the Canadian derby.
Look at you.
I did see that it was Charlotte versus Atlanta, and I would have liked the Charman derby, but I will wait in the wings for that opportunity in the future.
Oh, fantastic. What's study hall been like getting ready for the Revs in Charlotte?
Good, because obviously I've done several Charlotte games in recent history, so know a lot of those players, a lot of those storylines. I know there's been changes of personnel since I was, doing every single game, but I've kept up to date with it, with a lot of the fans that are, still friends of mine and things like that. So that's been great. And then New England, I've seen maybe 3 times this season as well. So it's really nice when you have that familiarity. I love Marko Mitrovic. I just could talk to him all day. Former Reading FC assistant coach as well. So the minute you name dropped the Majeski Stadium, he had this smile on his face, and I was like, "See, I know ball, Marco. I know ball. I've been christened into good, difficult environments of football my whole life." But I think with Charlotte and New England, these games have always been very interesting. I did the reverse fixture this season when Carlos Gil scored in the 96th minute from an awkward penalty. So it's great to have that muscle memory. And then actually I did with Casey, we did the September Charlotte versus New England at Gillette Stadium. So I've done the last 2 matchups of these. So I love that because I have good storylines, good context, good memories. Luca Langoni to me is like the star of the show. I just think he is so good this season. I know he's been good his whole career, but this season has been a real big breakout season. I love talking to Marco about it because I brought up how good he is on set pieces. And, I forgot to mention, I know Carlos Gil probably is top of the priority list of set pieces, but he was like, no, you're right. We are trying to find ways to take off the workload sometimes from Carlos and allow Luca an opportunity to service balls in. So I think that's going to be fascinating. But then anytime Charlotte plays at home, they do look better. And I know their home record hasn't been as dominant this season as previous years. But I think they're going to be looking for revenge because that 1-0 defeat in New England felt pretty raw, I would say, for Dean Smith's side, considering they created good opportunities in that game. And then to have it come down to a referee decision 90 plus minutes is tough. I'm excited. I hope I get more goals than the last game in terms of just the 1-0 having to wait to 90 plus 6. I would rather not have another last minute penalty to call. As much as we like goals from the run of play. And John, should I set up my booth cam again? Do you think that I'd never done a booth cam before, and it went like people loved that thing. I was
Yeah.
like, guys, this is like
No, that's mandatory from now on, Jess. Now that you have discovered the magic of the booth cam with
it's
two of
so hard though to find a flattering angle when there's not much desk space. That is my one complaint. I feel like in Atlanta you have the better windows where you can like stick it to the window and get it across. Like I have to have it on this little tripod. So I'm gonna spend my off season figuring out a better way to do the booth camp. But it is fun getting to see, because I'm sure you know this from booth camps. You don't realize how your body language changes in a goal until you
Oh, yeah.
watch it back. And I love how like I look at Ian and it's like a moment of like, did we like particularly the Derek Etienne goal, right? When I look at it, I'm just like, did we really just witness that from Derek Etienne Jr.? And I never thought I would go viral in Haiti, but that goal call is pretty viral in Haiti now, so I'll take it. I was very proud of that one, honestly. Pulling that out of my backside, like, you can actually see it where I made the smile of like, dang, I crushed that goal call. It's really, you're like, yes, that was good. That felt good to say. So no, I love it, and man, we've come a long way. But how was that? Did you call some of the Georgia high school
Yeah,
finals?
I did.
There was some good results. I was so happy. I'm gonna give her a shout out for Molly
Yeah,
at Jefferson. Is it Jefferson,
yeah,
right? Jefferson. Molly,
yeah,
is that? Yeah.
yeah.
Really happy for her. We've been texting for 5 years now, ever since we met, and nobody's deserved it more than Molly. They've come so close so many times. So I was very glad that Jefferson got it over the line.
Yep, and it went to PKs, and they had to earn it. And when you thought it was over, and it wasn't, and then they had to go back and do the bottom of the fifth again. And yeah, we had a conversation with Molly on the network that went a good 25 minutes, and with
Yeah.
something like Molly, it can go forever. And I had to kind of like stop it because I'm like, no, we've got to go and do other things. You got to go do testing.
Yeah.
And
She's just a great human being, though, and it's one of the reasons like I just love high school so much. And even now, sometimes I'll post videos and people will DM me like, hey, I just want you to know you commentated my kids final, back in 23, and thank you for that. It's so cool. So I was sad I couldn't make it work, but I was in Montreal. No surprises there, right?
Yeah. Two of the more demure personalities on Apple TV, Jess Charman and Joy, get to do Charlotte and the Revs. As always, my friend, it's great to hear your voice and catch you whenever we can to come and visit.
Thank you for having me, and we'll catch up during the World Cup, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we ain't going nowhere.
All right. Love you, John. Talk to you soon.
Be
Bye.
good. Love you too, Jess. There goes Jess Charman. And so Jess is done. So Jess has, yeah, and Dell sent me the photo of the bobblehead. And I am surrounded by disappointment. I am surrounded by disappointment. I have no clue where this man bun is. I really don't. And then Dell sent me the photo, and I was like, really? Where's the man bun? Literally, that was the first thing that I was trying to figure out is where is the man bun? These kind of things, this is the kind of stuff that we talk about. These are these earth-shattering issues that we always talk about here on the morning show. And speaking of, I was debating filibustering until 10 o'clock, but it's like 9:59 and something. And so I'm going to go ahead and round off because we bring in another first-timer to the morning show and to the show of chaos. This is his first time in. His first time in here is in the show of chaos with which he is contributing. And we bring in Nacho Garcia from Apple TV. Do you know what you've gotten yourself into, Nacho?
Hey, John. Morning. How are you, my friend?
All right. This is first off, welcome to the Friday show, which has its own mind and its own starter set. And what we like to do when Kirk Reynolds at Major League Soccer, he was the one who comes up with these ideas. We were like, okay, what if we got as many voices from Apple TV on one show in one day? And we do it for special events. And so it's like, season kickoff, beginning of the playoffs, MLS Cup, and he's like, well, since this is the last weekend before the World Cup, why don't we do one here? Right. And I'm like, I'm not going to complain. It's fine with me. And so I don't know when he reached out to you to do this, but I can't thank you enough for diving in and grabbing on with both hands as we do a show of chaos. Good morning.
Good morning. No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me here in the show, John, and happy to speak about MLS and about whatever you want to talk. Yeah. And you're right. We are super close to the long break. I'm super curious about how will be this long break, because it's the first time in the history of the MLS. I don't remember before. Obviously, when you had the chance to talk to the coaches in the Major League Soccer, everybody said, mostly the coaches that are coming from Europe, they said, yeah, we have the same thing there in Europe, but it's not the same thing, because it's a long break between two seasons. This is a long break inside of the same season. So you have to do 2 pre-seasons inside the same year, the same calendar.
Where are you? First question, where are you this weekend?
I'm going to Kansas City, Missouri. I'm visiting that city, and it's a great game because it's Sporting Kansas City against the Red Bulls, 2 teams that are coming in a pretty good shape.
And what has it been? What has gotten into Sporting? Because early this year, we knew Sporting Kansas City, because David Lee has said as much, the sporting director, that look, we're bringing in 12 to 14 new people. We know it's going to take a while. Rafa Vicky, I guess he knew what he was getting into because of all of the folks that weren't there and the folks that they were bringing in. What has been the difference these last couple of matches that you've seen in doing your homework? What has happened to Sporting Kansas City to resemble the Sporting Kansas City that we're used to seeing?
Well, I think that sometimes you don't know why, but you need to move some pieces inside the puzzle, and the main change, obviously, I don't think is the main reason, but for example, we had a change in the goal. Buscam is not doing it anymore. The last games are the goal is defended by Stefan Cleveland. I think it's not the most important movement, but sometimes with another goalkeeper, you can change also the feeling, the chemistry inside the team, and sometimes it's a strategic movement. The other guy who is not playing, and he used to do it, is Manu Garcia, the Spanish guy. He's from my country, and I think he's not for a low level. I think it's more about thinking to change a little bit about the tactical, and it's not a bad idea, because if you check the last game against Austin, with him, we could see a great reaction of Kansas City. I mean, he can be super valuable coming from the bench. So, yeah, I would say those 2 changes. Obviously, we saw more things, but I would say if we have to put some names on the table, those 2 are the main things that changed. Cleveland in the goal, and Manu Garcia is coming from the bench.
And Sporting Kansas City, I guess, is directly responsible for the activity in Austin, where both Rodo Borrell and Nico Estevez are now looking for work. And it was crazy to find out, apparently, from Brad Stuver, that the players found out online that their coach and their sporting director were gone. And now you have Red Bull taking on, you have Sporting taking on Red Bull. And I don't know which Red Bull team I'm going to get from a daily basis, but that's what happens when you have, 18, 19-year-old players that are out there in the baby Bulls. What have you seen with them this year?
We could call this year the Red Bull New York is the High School Musical, no? It's something. Yeah, because it's yesterday we had the chance to talk to the coach. We were sitting a while with Mike Bradley, and it was one of the obviously the focus of having so many kids on the team is also is a good thing, because all those guys are coming from your academy. So it means that probably you are not spending so much money in the in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Your solutions are at home, so it's super cool. And we were talking also about they could do this without the new facility. Now that they have one of the best facilities, developing center of the world. So we were talking about that. But yeah, it's a super young team. I don't know if they are in the bus singing simple songs or something like that. But obviously, no, it's super fun. And yeah, we have a lot of names that we can talk about, but I think one of the names is Julian Hall, for example. No, or I mean, we have a lot of them. Rubalcaba too. What can I tell you? You already know they work super well with the academy.
Well, and you mentioned Ruvalcaba and Julian Hall, and from 16 to 20-year-olds, yes, proper hydration. Yes, we believe in properly hydrated guests. It's always a good thing. With 16 to 20-year-olds, they came out of the blocks just gangbusters, and it's like, wow, hey, look at what's going on with Red Bull and Michael Bradley. It's fantastic what he's doing. You see what he's doing, and then those kids, they hit that wall. The bell rang, and they had to change classes. They're going from American history to calculus or whatever, and they hit that wall, and then they have that downstroke, and then everybody's like, "Oh, Michael Bradley, what's he doing with all the young kids? Come on, where are these veterans? He's got to play." You get this. And I swear there were people who wanted Michael Bradley gone after that first downstroke this season. And I'm like, will you stop with this? Let the man breathe a little bit and let the kids learn. I know that's how we are sometimes, but you get through that wall, you push through that wall, and I think you're seeing them come through the other side here early in the season with Red Bull.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to find the balance. And if you check the standings, the Red Bulls have been, except for a couple of weeks, they are being always in the postseason positions in the table. So we're talking about a team that they were not in the position the last year. So what can you say about that? I mean, the work is excellent, and I think the moment of this project is not now, but maybe they can do something interesting this year, But the foundation that they are creating for the following years is amazing. So that's the main thing. I can understand all the noise that is outside, but sometimes, as you said, you have to be focused on the things that you can control and not all the noise outside. And also at the same time, it happens with all the teams in the big cities. It's a big market. New York is a big market. Yesterday we had a NBA game of the Knicks. Imagine if the Knicks yesterday, if they lose that game, obviously they won and they deserve the victory. But if they lose, even after what happened in the first game, today everybody will be talking that this project is a disaster. And so when you have a big market, you don't have a balance. You are the best in the world or you are the worst thing in the world. So I think in another level, because we are talking about soccer, not about NBA, not about NFL, but it's like the same story. You understand?
Oh yeah, I mean, you went through it with Real Madrid. It's like, look, wins are great, losses it's the end of the world, and especially if you lose. If you're Real Madrid and you lose to Atleti and Simeone, then like world's over, and God forbid there be an upset against Levante or something like that, where the wheels have fallen off. Doesn't matter if you played group stage of Champions League, you had like 3 matches in a week and the Copa del Rey and all of this. It's like if you lose a match, the world is over. Forget it, and it's just like, no, it's not happening for us. We're over. We're done. Break it all up and just forget it all. And I'm just going to go hide in a corner. I mean, that's usually how it goes, right?
Yeah, and the toughest part is for the coach because they have to talk every week before the game, after the game. In our case, for example, in MLS, they have to talk to the guys in the broadcast too. So you are kind of a representative of the club. So as you said, if you are in a big club like Real Madrid and you are the coach, that's one thing that I admire for example, of Ancelotti. He was how many years? I mean, 3 years in the last project and another 3 or 4 in the first stage, and I don't remember a press conference of Carlo Ancelotti when he lost the control, or he was not talking about what he had to say, So they deserve that. We have to give credit to those guys that they have to be 4 or 5 times, 6 times per week in front of the media, and they know how to to talk. Yeah.
You ain't kidding, brother. Nacho Garcia hanging out with us for another couple of minutes. Nate Bukaty in the bullpen. We get to talk about his book finally. I've been bugging
John. You should do the interview with Nate in Spanish. You know that he speaks Spanish perfectly.
Oh, he does he?
Yeah.
Nate's in the green room and he's like, "Nuh-uh, brother. That is not happening."
we have an agreement when we are together. It's super weird. I imagine people that can be close to our table when we are in a restaurant or something like that, they should think that we are crazy, because our conversation I'm talking in English, he's talking in Spanish, because we practice each other. We challenge each other.
Okay,
it's super fun. Yeah.
Forget the bullpen. I'm bringing Nate in now because
nice.
I can't resist this. So is this true, Nate?
Amigo mío.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Nacho, buen te veo. What Nacho said is 100% true, because I'm trying to get better at my Spanish. I'm trying to improve every day. This, John, has been awesome for me, because every weekend I get to go on the road and with awesome guys like Nacho, who, and by the way, the great thing about the MLS season pass Spanish language roster is Nacho's from Spain. We got guys from Ecuador, Argentina, name the country where they speak Spanish, and we've got guys from there. And so they all teach me different kind of little nuances to the language, different dialects or accents and kind of different usage of words and things like that. So I'm learning a lot about the world, you know what I mean, through learning my Spanish. But it's true, Nacho, I'm always trying to get him to talk in Spanish to me, but he's trying to improve his English and I'm trying to improve my Spanish. So people look at the two of us and see me talking Spanish and Nacho talking English, and they're like, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
But that's the cool part, though. I mean, but
Yeah.
and from a philosophical standpoint, that's what's so cool about the game, is that you have all these different nationalities coming together, sharing their own perspectives. And I can just, if the two of you ever have a disagreement at the table, do you still have to disagree in the other person's language?
I don't think we've ever disagreed on anything.
No.
So, it's pretty easy.
We had some strange situations, like the last time, you remember in the restaurant what happened?
We went to a
With our
sushi
little
place.
friend?
We had a little friend show up at the
But
sushi
never-
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a mouse ran across the floor.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
It was the dessert. The dessert was coming to the floor.
Whoa. And we were not at Disney World, so it was not the kind of mouse we wanted to see.
We'll not say where we were in that
Yeah,
moment.
we won't name
will
the
not say
place.
city, yeah. Not the city, not the restaurant.
Nacho left a good review.
You give like a 1/4 star on Yelp.
I mean, you have some places in Japan where you can eat and you can pet with animals. So this kind of something similar, but we didn't order the mouse.
Mm-hmm.
He came
Yeah.
directly here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've had some adventures on the road. The other thing is, how much Nacho's an NBA expert too, right?
We were talking the Knicks before you came on.
Yeah. Okay, God. Yeah. Oh, well, that's the Knicks in Atlanta. That's turned into something.
Don't even.
Yeah, sorry. Nacho's taught me a lot, though. It's pretty awesome. He's a great guy, and we have really good conversations. And someday I'm going to go to Spain and tell everybody that I know him, and I feel like they're just going to roll out the red carpet for me.
You have to pay double if you say that when you go to the restaurants.
I see now. As a Clippers fan growing up.
Ooh.
Yeah, you see, exactly.
I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in one of the many suburbs of Los Angeles. So for me, I was not a Lakers fan. Everybody else was a Lakers fan. So I grew up a Clippers fan.
That's the
John, you
easiest
were
way.
that was that during the Danny Manning era?
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, and the thing is that I lived here when you had the Danny Manning Dominique trade. and you could have shut the city down. When Dominique Wilkins was traded from the Hawks to the Clippers, the world, you want to talk open rebellion, you want to talk tiki torches and pitchfork heading to the Hawks front office, you trade away a legend in Dominique Wilkins to the LA Clippers and get Danny Manning in return. University of Georgia basketball plays with the Hawks, and you trade him to the Clippers. I was kind of cool with it. Living here, I was still cool with it. But you got, it was so bad.
I'm a Jayhawk, so Danny Manning's like the greatest, Jayhawk of all time when it comes to what he did at the university. And I swear if he hadn't torn his knees up, he would have been one of the best players in NBA history too, but he had those knee problems. Is that before your time, Nacho? Do you know Danny Manning very well?
I know the name. I didn't see him playing, but I know who he is. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Dominique Wilkins. Yeah. I don't have the jersey here. I have it upstairs. If not, I would be showing right now my Hawks jersey of
really.
Wow. I have something better out, Dominic. You wanna see me? I can show you. Let me give me a second.
Go grab it. Yeah.
I have something that you are not expecting about Dominic Wilkins.
Wow. Okay.
This is gonna be great. Isn't Nacho awesome, by the way?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm telling you, John, I feel so lucky in this job. And honestly, one of the things that really drew me to the game of soccer so much is the global nature of it. And I didn't have any idea when I started really following soccer that someday down the road, my career would afford me the opportunity to hang out with guys like this. Okay, what we got here?
I have to tell you the story of this ball. This is the Dominic Wilkins signature.
Wow. Okay.
And this is the company of
CBA?
Dominic Wilkins.
Oh, wow.
They are based there in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
And, this company is the one who do all the floors, not all of them, but 80% of the floors in the NBA arenas, in the NCAA arenas, for basketball, for volleyball. So the guy who take the money of all those installations is Dominic Wilkins.
Wow.
And it was super fun. I was covering for a long time the NBA for the broadcaster, for the right holders in Spain, Movistar. And I was doing a report about this company, but I didn't know who was the owner. I was doing the report about this company is the one who do all the installations of the courts. That was the reason to go there. And once there, I was talking to the one of the two owners. I didn't know who was the other one, and he told me. And let me show you the office of my partner, the other owner of the company. Okay, let's go. And when I arrived there, it was crazy. You know what they had there? They had the big 21, the number 2 and number 1 that the Hawks used it when they retired the jersey.
Oh yeah.
They put a big 2 and a big 1 in the middle of the court. Those numbers were there. It was like, wow. He said he doesn't know where to put it. His wife said, not at home. So he's in the office. And that was the moment when I figured it out that the owner of the company who installed the courts of the NBA is Dominic Wilkins.
Wow.
They created it before the Olympics, before the 1996. They saw the opportunity, so they start to create the company to produce and for the installation of the sports facilities. And now, you know the story.
Wow. So, all right. So hang on. So now that Nacho's done this, I've got to find this particular drop that only Nate and I would know, and maybe people of a certain age. So let me play this drop that I've had for moments like this.
Now you know the rest of the story.
That is an American radio legend, Paul Harvey.
I lost audio. I can't hear it.
I don't know. Well, I tried to play Paul Harvey. I had a Paul Harvey drop, and I played it. And so, of course.
And now you know the whole story.
Yes, I do. Nacho, it is great to have you added to the stacks, my friend. I'm glad that you were able to come in and talk about things soccer and other than soccer. That was very
It's a pleasure. Thank you, John, again. And whenever you want, just let me know and I'll be here for sure.
You know,
I'll prepare something. I think today the level is super high, but I try to do another thing next time. Okay.
it's all good. No, good to see you, brother. Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you, guys. Bye, Nate.
All right. So Nate Bukaty now back with us. And Nate, you got your ears on. I think we lost Nate's audio. And we lost Nate's audio. So I don't know what happened. So Nate was like, I know what
John,
happened.
I can't hear anything now. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. You sound fine to me. You sound good to
here.
me. I don't know. That was crazy. Tell you what, log out and log back in. So hang on. Let me do this. So Nate's messing with stuff, and so he's playing with like levels and things. And so hang on just a second. Where's my note taker thing that I can give here? Yeah, okay. So that was probably the I don't know what happened. I play Paul Harvey. Paul Harvey scared Nate Bukaty's camera and his audio. I don't know what happened. That was crazy. So I play a Paul Harvey drop, and Nate Bukaty's studio freaked out. That was wild. I don't know what happened. But no, it's great to add Nacho to the stacks. That was very cool that he had the basketball with Dominique Wilkins. That was wild. He's got a Dominique Wilkins autographed basketball, and he got to see when they retired Dominique Wilkins' jersey, the 21, then yeah. Oh, transatlantic. Okay, so we'll do that. All right. So now Nate is still adjusting his he's adjusting cameras and things. So all right. So I see you adjusting something. Oh, okay. There it goes. Whoops. I don't know what's going on with that. It's like he's logging on and logging off. That was crazy. He came in great. I played Paul Harvey, and then everything went in the dumper. So I don't know. Let's see. So here we go. Got you, Nate.
I don't know what's going on with this camera here, buddy.
Well, then tell you what. We'll just talk. I'll take the camera out of commission.
Yeah, let's say. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Hey.
Yeah. There it is.
Technology is a challenge for me, brother. I don't know what happened, but I'm back. It's good to see you, man.
With you. I think I blame Paul Harvey because I played the Paul Harvey drop and then everything went in the dumper. So first off, sir, A, glad to have you back. B, where are you this weekend?
So I've got a couple of stops. I'm in St. Louis tomorrow for St. Louis versus Austin FC. And then and that's a day game. And then I head down to Miami for the Fox call of the Miami versus Philadelphia Union match. Okay. So I'm kind of excited about that because that'll be the last day of that'll be kind of the appetizer for Fox's World Cup, right? These are the last. They got a couple of games on Sunday that of MLS play, and of course that's the last day of MLS play before the World Cup. So, a chance to be a part of the build up there with Miami and Philadelphia. So those are the two games I've got this weekend.
Let me start with your first. Well, actually, no, I'm going to start with the book because I've been bugging you about coming on to talk about your book. There it is. Perfect pitch. There it is. And one author to another. What was it? You're just like, man, I've got to write this book.
Yeah. So, I've always wanted to write a book. I've kind of had one in the works for a long time. And because there was no deadline for that one, it's just always been in the works, right? There's never there's always more work to do, getting ready for my next broadcast, prepping, all those things. So it's always kind of been on the back burner. And then I know the day that I had the idea was April 4th of 2025, because that's when, so I have a co-author here. You can see on the book, Rustin Dodd, who's an actual author. He's a published author. He writes for the Athletic. He's a senior writer for the Athletic. He's from Kansas City and he's an old friend of mine. I texted him that morning because I was on a plane, as I usually am. and I was thinking about, and maybe you can identify with this, but once I was a broadcaster, did the traditional American sports mostly for the first half of my career. And it was 2006 when I just really caught the bug for soccer. I mean, like hook, line, and sinker, full in. This is my favorite sport. And I was just a fan for about 10 years talking and talk radio in Kansas City and things like that. When the Sporting Kansas City owners came to me and asked me to do their play-by-play, I'm giving you way more context than you wanted here.
It's a morning show. We got time and space.
Yeah.
Brother. Good.
So, once I decided to make the pivot and say, okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm going to try this. I'd been doing baseball, basketball, football, working for the University of Kansas and the Kansas City Royals and things like that. That's a pretty big pivot to go to soccer, right? As a relatively unexperienced soccer play-by-play announcer, I was really just a big fan at that time. But I decided, you know what? And my wife encouraged me, this is your favorite sport. This is your passion. You get this opportunity. You got to go for it. Mm-hmm. And so we did. And everything since then has justified the decision. You know what I mean? Like just that conversation we just had with Nacho, moments like that, that's what I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to learn more about the world, and soccer is just such a great vehicle to do that. So once it started to become clear that the World Cup was coming to the United States, I got involved with Kansas City's bid process to try to become one of the, one of the host nations. Excuse me. And so I just decided back at that time, like, okay, everything that I do from a professional standpoint needs to be geared towards putting myself in the best position possible to be as big of a part of this World Cup as I possibly can. And to contribute, and especially in my hometown of Kansas City, which is by far the smallest city in the United States to be awarded hosting privileges. Mm-hmm. There are 11 cities. Most of them are massive metropolises like Atlanta. In fact, all 10 of the other 11 cities are top 15 media markets. Mm-hmm. Kansas City is media market 33. So this is a massive underdog story. And so I thought, you know what? I bet you would be really interesting to the people that are going to come to Kansas City for this World Cup to learn about this town and to learn about the soccer journey. How did a town this size in the middle of America become the self-proclaimed soccer capital of America? And how did it land the World Cup? People love an underdog story. And I just also think people don't know much about Kansas City if they've never been. That was the origin of the idea. And I just saw, and I'll give you another brief one, John. And in this job, now that we travel, guys like Nacho, I'll see Nacho for a game in Philadelphia, then I won't be in the same city with him again for 3 or 4 months or maybe a year, depending on what our rotations are with who's on calling what games. But we all communicate, right? We're all in the same, and we compare notes on, hey, what did you think? Hey, did you hear about the mouse at the place in Philadelphia, whatever. And so I would ask guys, hey, what did you think of Kansas City when you came here? And usually the truth is the answer was, it was fine. The stadium was really nice. And I would say, well, what did you do? And they would say, well, I went to the hotel, went to the game, came back to the hotel, and went home. And I thought, boy, if that's your experience of Kansas City, you're probably going to walk away going, not much to it, not much in that city. It's the kind of city where it's got gems everywhere, but they're all hidden gems almost. And you need somebody to show you around. So I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that people that were coming to visit my hometown were leaving completely underwhelmed. And so I thought, I got to do something about this. So when I am in town and guys come to town, I will take them to lunch. I'll take them to some spots and say, hey, check this out. Hey, did you know about this history? And what I usually do is have a barbecue at my house. Wow. Barbecue is a big thing in Kansas City. I've got a smoker and I've got a football field that I paint in my backyard. So I have the guys over. We have some ribs. We tell stories. We laugh. We have a bourbon. We kick the soccer ball around a little bit, and we have a great time. And what was really cool about it was I did that a couple times, and the next thing you know, other broadcasters are shooting me text messages going, hey, man, when I come to Kansas City, I better get a barbecue, And all of a sudden, guys started saying, man, Kansas City's one of my favorite cities to go to. And so I thought, man, supposedly we're going to have 600,000 people coming to Kansas City this summer. We'll see. I know the hotel numbers are kind of disappointing everywhere, but I still think it's going to be massive. And all these people are going to come to a city like Kansas City with no real expectations, right? No thoughts. Nobody really thinks about Kansas City, and maybe they know Patrick Mahomes now. If I could throw a backyard barbecue for every one of those people, I would, but I can't do that. So if I write this book, I can tell them a lot of the things that make it an amazing city. And it really is a fascinating city with an incredibly complicated and diverse pioneering background. It really is kind of like, and honestly, John, and I will say this because if your audience is probably going, why do I give a rip about, the history of soccer in Kansas City? The reason my sales pitch there would be, in many ways, Kansas City is the perfect microcosm of this country. And the reason why is because it's right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes through Kansas City. Northern thought, Southern thought. It was the Western front of the Civil War. So, I mean, the city itself is divided by the greatest divide this country's ever had. It's just, it kind of illustrates all the complex issues and problems and triumphs and failures and everything that this country's had. And soccer is a perfect example of that. If you think about the journey of soccer in Atlanta, you're getting way longer of an answer than you wanted from me on this probably, but if you think about the journey of soccer in Atlanta, the way I understand it, I think that soccer, the cause of soccer in America has been greatly advanced by the city of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the city of Atlanta, Arthur Blank and everybody involved, especially in that early run, showed America what potential soccer has in the South, which I was really skeptical of. Honestly, when I found out they were moving a team to Atlanta, I was like, they can't even fill up their stadium for Braves games when they go to playoffs every year. And it's college football territory. They're not going to love soccer there. And boy, was I wrong. 50,000 plus fans in this beautiful stadium. You can fill a football stadium in soccer in America. Seattle maybe had shown that a little bit too, but I think Atlanta took the ball and showed everybody like, hey, by the way, soccer can be this if you do it right. And that's what Kansas City did before Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta happens without Kansas City. When Kansas City had their rebrand and they were the first ones to build a state-of-the-art, like a palace.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a 20,000 seat palace, but it's a palace. And everybody in Kansas City thought they were nuts. What are you doing? You get 7,000 fans a game tops as it is. You're going to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to build a soccer specific stadium. And they filled it up and they sold it out 100 straight games. And now look at the rest of the league. Everybody else in the league has taken what Kansas City did and improved upon it a little bit. And so my point with the book is, I think a lot of people are going to come to the United States for this World Cup still thinking that we don't have a soccer culture here. I've already gotten that perception from a lot of people. It's like, well, you guys still you don't have a soccer culture. And sure, soccer's not the biggest thing in this country. And that's, I won't even try to debate that. But it is so different here now than it was in 1994. When we didn't have a league or any understanding of the leagues around the world. You didn't have supporters clubs with I was in Atlanta as an Arsenal fan when they won against West Ham United a couple weeks ago in a packed bar at 10 o'clock on a Mother's Day filled with Americans cheering for Arsenal. That didn't exist back in 1994. You didn't have a stadium in Atlanta getting 50,000 fans for a winning team. And I think that this book kind of, like, if you want to know how that happened, I think Kansas City's like a perfect example of markets like Seattle, Portland, Atlanta, name all these other cities that have come in to the league in Major League Soccer and have kind of taken their own thing and shown, hey, by the way, we can do this here and we can make it really something special. So there's my long sales pitch for you.
Well, the thing is that my problem is that I probably should have had a segment with Nate Bukaty, author, and then Nate Bukaty, play guy, and we're having to do both here at the same time, because what happened here with Atlanta United is that they took the college football mentality for the fan and applied it to soccer. And so basically, because you've got the tailgating, you've got all the support groups that are there hours ahead of time, and the camaraderie that's attached, the noise that's encouraged in your college football environments in the SEC. So you took a team and put it right smack dab in the middle of the Southeastern Conference, where it just means more, because they let us know this. And you put it there, and you wanted to become the team of the Southeast. Darren Eales said this from the absolute beginning. He didn't want to be just a team for Atlanta or for the state of Georgia. He wanted to be a team for the Southeast. That's why he was doing games in Nashville and Chattanooga and all the places off the top. And that was to grow that to where it is. When you can add a Nashville, you can add a Charlotte, you can add all these teams in the Southeastern footprint that can apply what we know from professional sports and from college football specifically, and throw it into the soccer dynamic, and you get to expose it to that many more people that much faster.
And I love the fact that you brought that up, because that is one of the things that I actually think is a strength of American soccer that the rest of the world sees as a weakness. And that is that we are not monolithic with our sports in America. And I don't know about you. We just had this big conversation with Nacho about basketball. Yeah. Most Americans, even if they're diehard soccer fans like us, we can talk baseball with you. We could talk basketball. We could talk football, because you grew up doing all of it, watching all of it, playing all of it. Mm-hmm. And in other countries, they think that means you can't be as serious about soccer because it's only soccer. That's all that matters. And I actually think that's wrong. I think learn lessons from other sports that you can apply to the game of soccer, just like you can learn things from the game of soccer and apply them to other sports. You just used a perfect example. Whether it's the fan experience, whether it's actually like ideas within a game, how you should play a game, how you can manage a game. And so, yeah, and I think the fan culture in the SEC for football in many ways might be the closest thing to the fan culture that you see in European soccer and South American soccer, right? Fans that will travel en masse wherever the game is, that make their entire schedule around the sport itself. So I think that's a great point. And the South has proven that it's a fertile ground for soccer, and because of Atlanta. And you're right. Charlotte wouldn't be here if Atlanta hadn't worked. Nashville, I don't think, would be here if Atlanta hadn't worked. And there are so many stories like that through the history of this relatively young league, and really, I mean, relatively infantile league still. Mm-hmm. Even 30 years in, it's a baby compared to the rest of the world. And I think that I think as Americans, we need to really show, this is our opportunity to show the rest of the world we have a robust soccer culture here. We have people that really care about the sport, and this isn't the same place that you came to in 1994 when we didn't know anything about the game.
And then you take it from the Division I level and you go further down. You look at Greenville, you look at Chattanooga, you look at Birmingham, you look at Charleston. You see the Division II franchises that have made their efforts. Women's soccer that is making its inroads. The college game, the high school game. We just finished our high school championships, and Jason Longshore and myself and a couple of us at SDH, we were all over the high school championships. And so we've been able to see on all of these different levels and all of these different pockets where it matters in that particular section of what's going on in whatever part of the country we're talking about. But in the South specifically, you see where it matters. And it's just been really cool to see it blossom, as you're using your word there, for the last X number of years.
Yeah, I write about that in the book. My high school experience was playing in a public park because our athletic director didn't think soccer was a real sport. We were in the inner city, and I'm actually going to go shoot a video from that place because I drive by it every once in a while. And I think we live out in the burbs now. My kids think I'm telling some kind of old man phony story, but it was a big empty lot with a few patches of grass on it. And that's where we practiced our soccer. Our coach was reading out of a textbook. He didn't know anything about soccer. I learned most of my soccer from the immigrants, the Latino immigrants who worked in the factories right across the highway from the place where we practiced. Mm-hmm. They would come over after work and ask if they could play with us. And they knew how to play, and they were tough, by the way. And they toughened us up and taught us how to play the game a little bit. It's so different now. My son's 16 years old, and he knew more about soccer tactics at 11 than I did at 35, and it's just changed so much in this country, the access at all levels. Like you said, it's night and day, and the facilities. Look here in Kansas City, and I don't know if your audience knows this, we got 6 games coming for the World Cup, including a quarterfinal, which could be Argentina versus Portugal. Messi versus Ronaldo one final time. But also we have 3 teams that are going to base camp here. England, Argentina, and the Netherlands. And then Algeria is going to camp where the Kansas women's soccer team plays in Lawrence. And everybody that went to that place was like, you guys have these types of facilities for women's college soccer, like university soccer, not professional. And I'm like, that's America now.
Yeah, that's how it is. Okay, buy the book and please buy the book. So let me put the author over here. I need to bring in the Apple TV guy.
I'm just going to show them one more time in case they wonder about the title. Perfect pitch. There you go.
There it is. Perfect pitch.
Yeah.
What in the wide world of sports happened in Austin?
Listen, there's two sides to that story. One is all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Sporting Kansas City played by far their two best games of the year back to back. They did the same thing to the LA Galaxy, and Devon and I were on the call for both of those games. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if that's more about what the other two teams had going on or more about Sporting. I think it's a little bit about both. Okay. But let's take it from the Austin side. They had just come off a 5-0 loss at San Diego. And we were kind of expecting a bounce back because usually in this league, when you see a team get put to the sword, the next game they bounce back. I usually kind of look at those win probabilities that we do, and I say, I'm going to go ahead and back the team that just got throttled last time around, because in this league, it's, momentum is a fickle thing. And so that's what I expected. And honestly, Sporting dominated that game. They dominated the first 45 minutes. They were down 1-0 with, because it was a great goal by Dessler, who caught a ball off the volley in the penalty area. That was only the third touch that Austin had in the opponent's penalty area the whole first half. And I thought, well, we'll see what happens in the second half. Came out, second half was the same story. Outside of about a 5 or 10 minute stretch late in the second half, Sporting dominated the second half as well, and they finally got their 2 goals. And then, the sporting director and the head coach got fired right afterwards. I think this Austin side doesn't have a clear identity. I don't think that Rodolfo Borrell really, when I talk to other front office execs about the teams in the league, there are certain teams where it's like, what they're trying to do and how they're trying to do it, and what their system is, what their organization is, what they're trying to build. And then there's other teams where you're like, it just seems like they're kind of signing players, and I think that's the sense I've gotten about Austin for the last couple of years. And it doesn't mean they signed bad players. Facundo Torres is a good player, but I don't think he's a great player. I think that, he kind of showed in Orlando that he could get you to a certain level, but the guys that go win the trophies convert at a little higher rate. They do some things that he hasn't shown he can bring yet. Brandon Vasquez has been hurt. He's barely even played. They've had injuries in the midfield that have caused them problems as well, and injuries on the back line. But the problem with that is, John, look around this league and show me the team that hasn't had to deal with some injury problems.
Yep.
And so the coach, the ownership doesn't want to hear that as an excuse. So, it has not gone the way they've wanted, and I think they're going to hit a hard reset button here over this. A lot of teams, I think, are going to make big changes in this summer transfer window.
And I think you're talking to someone who's based in a market where you might be seeing some of that too.
Yeah.
Let me go to match number 2 on your weekend doubleheader. What in the wide world of sports is happening in Philadelphia?
Man, why are you starting with the negative stuff, John? We should have talked about how St. Louis is playing in the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup for the first time ever, a city that is richer in U.S. Open Cup history than any city.
And they've done it after they got rid of Joao Klaus.
Yeah, unbelievable. That being said, what's wrong with Philadelphia? Man, year number 2 for Bradley Carnell is a problem again. And is it Bradley Carnell? Is it a weird set of circumstances? That Philadelphia side lost some really good players. That's a Philadelphia organization that does not go out and spend big money, and they sell players. So you've got to keep, churning out new things. I'm not sure how good the system fits some of the players they have now. I'm not sure that system fits Kevin Sullivan really, really well. Talking to Bradley Carnell, and we're going to have a chance to talk to him today. The last time we did one of his games, he talked about, they're not getting production from their strikers at all. And that means they're not scoring goals. And, he used a line that sometimes they feel like the system is the playmaker for them, right? Because they're going to overwhelm you with pressure. They're going to turn you over quickly, and 2 passes later, before you can organize, you've got a goal. And that's great in theory, but I think sometimes in the modern game of soccer, we can think that the system is more important than the players. I still think it's a player's game. And you got to have some guys that can go do some special things. Yeah, they might need to fit the system, but they also have to be able to go out and score a goal. You know, they need to go out and make something happen. You know, it's funny, like this is a tangent, but like in Cincinnati this year, that was their idea, was we're going to improve our goal scoring by changing the way we play, because reliant on the players just making plays with Denke and Evander doing something special. Sometimes that can work, but I think in Philadelphia right now, the system is not making the plays the way that they need it to.
Okay. Someone who's identifying himself as Lord Farquaad is trying to come in from the green room.
Oh, boy.
Oi, donkey. Oi, donkey.
The Prince of Tulak, Lord Farquaad himself, is here this morning.
I don't feel like I'm the prince of anything right now with the early morning wake-up call on this. There's no one in this airport.
Are you changing planes in Atlanta right now? What are you doing?
We're well past that, my friend. I just landed in St. Louis.
Lambert, yeah.
I'm in Psychoville, and Tinkle's the mayor.
Wow. Now that we have the hot tag going here, you know the ground rules, both of you. Nate, for you to continue with your day, you have to have a question for the person who has entered the fray here.
PG.
So your question, Nate Bukaty, for Devon Kerr, so you can continue with your day off the hot tag.
So, John, I don't know if you know this, but Devon Kerr in a previous life worked in the restaurant and beverage industry. So he's like an amateur sommelier and like a foodie of the highest order. So anytime we travel, he has some spot I've never heard of where you can get a Himalayan dumpling that you've never had before and all that stuff. So Devon, the greatest hidden gem of a food item that you've discovered during your travels in Major League Soccer?
Oh, he already knows the answer. He lined it up for me perfectly. You don't? Really? I'm shocked by this.
I have an idea, but I don't. I'm not sure what you're going to say.
Well, I am shocked that he doesn't know directly, but as soon as I say it, he's going to know. So my favorite food spot is this tiny little place in Columbus, and it is momos. Now, for people that are unfamiliar with momos are a type of dumpling. They're Nepalese, and the dough is different than what you would get in a gyoza. I consider it kind of like a cross between it's more gyoza-ish, usually round in shape, but it does have a softer texture to it, not like a bao, but sweeter like that. The filling is usually veggie, chicken, and some sort of variation of a pork. It's usually always spicy. There are Far East influences or spices. I stumbled on it in 2023. Tyler Terrence was chasing a young lady. Fortunately enough, now they're married. But he kicked me to the curb, and I was on my own, and I stumbled into this little place. And I swear by it. It sits 4 people at the counter. They became very well known years ago on diners, drive-ins, and dives with Guy Fieri. I took Nate there for his first time. The family is incredible. The woman who owns it is super, super nice, and it's next level food, man. The whole market, North End Market in Columbus, is one of my favorite places to go. But I think it's called Momo Dien. Their food in North End Market is truly, like, I would get on a plane right now if I wasn't a slave to the trade and would go eat every single meal there. And I almost did, to be fair. What was that, 3 weeks ago? Nate just saw me randomly toning up at the counter.
On that place. North End Market is a phenomenal place all the way around. There's so much great food there. I thought that would be what Devon would say, but I wasn't sure. You know, maybe there's a spot I haven't been to with him yet. But yeah, Devon's got like the best food recommendations of anybody in the league. So there you go.
Nate Bukaty, author, Perfect Pitch, and sommelier in training and learning a bunch of different languages. So he gets to be our LaRousse on a bunch of different stuff. Nate, thanks for spending a lot of time with us here on a Friday on the show Chaos. And go get some brunch. We'll see you soon, my friend.
Thank you, guys. See you, John. See you, Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad, exactly.
See you later, donkey.
Wow.
What's up, man?
Where are you in Lambert? Are you getting your luggage? What are you doing?
Well, here's the problem. For some reason, the StreamYard, when I click off for a second, it's closing it out altogether. So I have to keep it open on my phone to be able to work. I'm in some little side alley. I don't know. I think I'm probably be quiet. I'm on the side away from baggage claim.
Okay.
But I see people walking by with badges. There's lockers over there. I wouldn't say that I've ventured into unrestricted TSA territory. I would, however, say that I'm not that far off. You know, and my pass isn't exactly. So we need to be a little bit careful. We don't cross the line in enemy territory.
Yeah, or that you try to pilot a plane and try to go home from Lambert and end up on the tarmac.
Yeah, and I can't get in an Uber yet either. So I'll just sit here and talk to you fine people.
Okay, I'm not going to keep you for long because you're there in town. When are you catching up with folks to get smart?
I am in Central Time now, so 11:30. So I have an hour and 39 minutes to figure out exactly what's going on in everybody's lives. And certainly listening to my partner, I tell you, we're on that Miami-Philly game